Bernadette Joy is on a money mission to mobilize a community to crush their goals in money and life.
She is here today to discuss 3 warning signs that you might be house poor and what actions you can take to crush your money troubles. Hello and welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me.
Glad you're here to talk about this. I think this is something that many people struggle with. Yes. Sign number 1 that you might be house poor is that you bought at the top of what the bank said that you could afford.
Yes. So, of course, when we go into buying a home, we trust that the people who we're working with are going to give us the best information. And if you're like me, someone who had a decent job, had decent credit, and had a little bit of money to put down on a house, you were probably given a rate something that would equal to about 35% of your gross income, which if you really think about it is a lot of money to spend on a house. And it's your gross income, not your actual take-home pay. And that number doesn't really take into account things like your healthcare bills, your actual utilities, what you spend on matcha or coffee or whatever it is, right? And so taking all those things into consideration is really important, not just the number that they give you.
And not just because the bank says, oh, you can afford a $500,000 house, you need to really do the numbers and see, is that really true? Is that even a wise decision? So
Exactly.
that is the case that you are in. How do people fix that problem?
Yes. So if you are going into buying a house, then the easiest rule that I can tell people is whatever the bank tells you to actually cut that number in half. And what I mean by that is that if you're in a couple, 2 people, then maybe you want to go in based on one person's income so you don't have to worry about both people having to work both jobs all the time. You don't have to worry about someone losing their job. If you're a single person, then you don't want to spend a ton of money on just your house alone. And if you are already in a house, so if you're already like me, I already bought a house, right, is to take a look at your expenditures, really figure out what your take-home pay and what the percentage is of your house payments. And if it's more than 25%, then I would say to really take a look and see if that house is right for you.
It's more than 25% of your take-home pay. Okay.
All right, sign number 2, you're having trouble maintaining your home.
Yes. So I grew up in New York City. We didn't have a ton of space. And so I was so floored when I came to Charlotte and saw that, wow, people have 3,000 square foot houses and that's like normal. And what I'm learning with a lot of my friends who have just bought houses is that 3,000 square feet seems like a really great idea until you actually have to keep it clean. And you can buy all the pretty things, but it's not going to look so great if it's buried under clothes and all of this stuff that you're having to maintain. So if you are having trouble maintaining your house, that might be a sign that you're house poor because you have more square footage than you actually need.
So if you're having trouble maintaining your house, how do you fix it?
Yes. So what I would suggest to people is really take a look at the spaces in your house, what you're using and what you're not using. Do you really need that extra bedroom? Do you really need, that office space or that nook? And really think about the time and money that you're spending to maintain those things. And also be really realistic with yourself about whether or not you have the time to do this. If you have a really busy job, if you have kids running around, if you are not a handy person, you do not like mowing the lawn, those are all things to think about as to whether or not you want to outsource those things. If you don't, then maybe you need to consider rearranging things in your house to make it more manageable for yourself.
Okay. The third sign that you might be house poor, paying for your home is causing you anxiety.
Yes. So I thought it was normal to have this like little pain in my chest every month when the mortgage came. It's like, oh, that's the sign of being an adult, right? No. Your body is telling you that something doesn't feel right. If you're feeling stressed every time you see your mortgage bill or house bills, or you're feeling like, for me, I had my roof just leak and it cost $1,000 to fix. Like, if I didn't have the emergency fund to take care of that, that would have been a lot more stressful. So if your body is telling you that it doesn't feel right, then chances are it probably isn't. And that's a time to reevaluate that situation.
So the fix for that really, I guess, is to take a good hard look at, should we be in this house?
So first off is, one, don't ignore it.
Okay.
That is something that I see a lot of people do. They feel this tension and they're just like, oh, that's normal, or it'll go away. Don't ignore that. Really, really evaluate that and have a conversation with your partner if you're married or someone that you trust about these feelings that you have, and decide, if you don't want to have those feelings anymore, then it's time to take action. And maybe that might mean moving, and if not, or it might mean getting a roommate or something that will change the situation to make that financial burden a little bit easier.
Great stuff, Bernadette. Thank you so much. Check out crushyourmoneygoals.com, crushyourmoneygoals.com for more information, or you can follow Bernadette at Bernadette Joy. Note the spelling, Bernadette Joy. Very clever. Bernadette, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.